Ladies and gentlemen, we will start in 1 minute. Please take your seats. Thank you.
Oldu mu azıcık? Kötü. Oldu. Söz.
Farida. Yes. Yeah, okay. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please ask those in the back move a little bit further, closer to this stage? Thank you very much. Farida. Farida Khan. That's my grandmother's name. What a rare Uzbek name, as a matter of fact. Farida Khan. Oh, Farida Khan. That is my late grandfather yelling whenever she was outside his visual reach. Anyway, several months ago, my grandmother went to one of the state service centers to renew her government-issued ID. And one of the guys working there looked at my old lady and he said, "Oh, you didn't have to come. You could do it online. It's super fast, it's super easy, and you can do it 24/7. You can do it through the internet." To which my grandmother said, "Can that internet thing of yours find my reading glasses too? Yes. Can it keep my 3-year-old grandson busy while I do this?"
Yes, I happened to be there to witness this. When his granny asked this question, everyone in the office laughed. But they also paused, because behind that simple joke is a very serious truth. Digital transformation only works if it works for everyone.
That's true. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Bahadur Ayupov. Honored to join you today as your MC with my partner MC, Aziza Shomamatova. The short story you heard outlines one of many matters to be addressed, or actually being addressed, by this fantastic event, to which we are thrilled to welcome you all. Day 2 of the United Nations Public Services Forum 2025.
Today, we move from global ideas to practical action, from high-level strategy to what it really takes to deliver. This morning, we'll explore how artificial intelligence is reshaping public services around the world and what that means for transparency, equity, and ethics.
And then later, we will split you back into your workshop sessions. I hope you're enjoying your discussions on topics like data governance, inclusive digital services, workforce upskilling, and public sector innovations, all essential for building future-ready institutions.
And in the evening, after a full day of ideas and inspiration, you'll have the chance to explore the rich cultural heritage of Samarkand through specially curated study tours. Yes, there's learning and beauty waiting ahead.
Absolutely. But first, the heart of this morning, ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to introduce the first plenary session of the day, transforming the public service in the era of artificial intelligence, and it is my pleasure to invite our panelists to this stage. First, can I please invite Ms. Gillian Dorner, Deputy Director in the Public Governance Directorate at the OECD. Since 2020, she's helped shape OECD policy on open government, public sector integrity, and digital transformation, and previously served in the UK Treasury on financial regulation and G20 affairs. Ms. Dorner, great to have you with us. Next, His Excellency Mr. Mohammed bin Talia, please welcome him, Chief of Government Services in the UAE's Prime Minister's Office. He is the driving force behind UAE's Government Service Excellence Program and innovations like Khadamati, the Global Star Rating, and the Best M-Government Award. Your Excellency, thank you very much for joining us. Next up, Will Hayes. Mr. Will Hayes is Commercial Director at Oxford's Insights. Please welcome him. With over 15 years of experience across public and private sectors, he leads research and consulting on data-driven public sector performance, especially known for his work on the Global AI Readiness Index. Mr. Hayes, thank you very much for joining us. Can we please invite Mr. Sarwarbek Sadullayev, Director of the AI Department at the Ministry of Digital Technologies. Sarwarbek is leading the charge on the country's ambitious Digital Uzbekistan 2030 and AI Uzbekistan 2030 strategies, working to train over 1 million programmers, building a national AI research ecosystem, and embed intelligent systems into public services. And to moderate this session, it is my pleasure to invite Mr. Vincenzo Acquaro, Chief of the Digital Government Branch at UN DESA, within the Division for Public Institutions and Digital Government. With over 25 years of experience across ICT and public policy, he previously led an Italian ICT consulting firm, taught digital governance at the University of Rome, and steered European Commission Public-Private Research Center in e-agriculture and fintech. Mr. Acquaro has been shaping e-government at the global level. He now leads the flagship UN e-government survey, guiding governments worldwide and designing inclusive, ethical, and SDG-aligned digital services. Mr. Acquaro, I'm handing over the stage to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Excellencies, distinguished panelists, colleagues, and guests. It is a great pleasure and honor to moderate this important plenary session today, transforming the public service in the era of artificial intelligence. We are meeting at a defining moment for public institutions. Artificial intelligence is reshaping how governments operate, how decisions are made, and how public services are delivered. Across the globe, we see AI being used to automate administrative tasks, enhance data-driven policy making, and tailor services to individual needs with the potential to improve efficiency, responsibility, and accessibility, especially for vulnerable populations. However, with this opportunity comes great responsibility. The rise of AI also brings critical challenges from data privacy and algorithm bias to ethical concern and public trust. These issues must be addressed head-on to ensure AI in the public sector is safe, inclusive, and accountable. This is why today's discussion is so timely. The United Nations has placed digital transformation at the core of its global agenda. Last September, during the UN General Assembly, the Secretary General introduced the Pact of the Future with the Global Digital Compact as a central pillar. The Compact outlines a shared vision for an open, secure, and equitable digital future, calling for closing digital divides, promoting responsible AI governance, and strengthening digital cooperation among member states. In that spirit, we are really fortunate today to have 4 outstanding panelists with us, each bringing rich insights and practical experience. So together, we are explore how AI is being adopted in public administration by first setting the scene with current trends, challenges, and opportunities, then turning to innovation and experimentation, including our government are piloting and scaling responsible AI solution, and time permitting, concluding with the focus on responsible AI, examining how to ensure transparency, ethics, and the protection of individual rights. Before we begin, I kindly ask all the panelists for their indulgence in keeping responses to about 3 to 4 minutes to ensure we can go through all 3 rounds of discussion and allow space for dialogue and reflection. And with further ado, let me begin with the first round, and it's my great pleasure to give the floor to Ms. Dorner with the first question, that is the following. Based on your experience in OECD, what are the most significant trends you are seeing in how countries are deploying AI in public services, and what common challenges are they encountering? Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everybody. I'd first like to start by saying a huge thank you to the UN for the great organization of this event, and to the government of Uzbekistan for your incredible hospitality. It was a great evening last night in particular. So, at the OECD, we've been working on AI in government, sorry, I should qualify that, since 2018. And during that period, we've seen the increased adoption really pick up in the recent years, as they have in many other sectors. Across the EU, the US, Latin America alone, we've been tracking more than 4,000 cases of AI adoption in government. And we've been looking at what is happening and what some of the main trends and challenges are. Now, one thing I would say is, despite that impressive number of 4,000 cases that we've tracked, what we are seeing is that most cases of AI adoption in government are incredibly fragmented. Many governments describe as having what we call a case of pilotitis, where many of the cases of AI adoption are still at the pilot phase, and governments are finding it very difficult to then scale up. We will be shortly releasing a big report, 200-odd pages, on governing with AI based on 200 real-world use cases. And in that document, we chart a number of trends. I'd like to pick up on 3 in particular. First is the uneven deployment across countries and functions. So, for example, in the 2023 OECD Digital Government Index, we saw that around 70% of OECD countries have used AI to enhance the efficiency of their internal operations. 67 are employing AI to refine service design and delivery, and yet only 30% have leveraged AI to enhance the effectiveness of public policies. Although our forthcoming publication will show an increase in the number of cases for public policies, governments still have a low rate of AI usage in this area. What we're also seeing is that AI is most widely used in public service design and delivery. I don't think that will be a surprise for many of you, because it is a horizontal function across sectors, and also it's being used as well as in public service design and civic participation, which tends to carry fewer data privacy risks than other areas. Interestingly, the justice system and justice administration in particular shows a surprisingly high adoption of AI. This is likely due to the pressure to manage backlogs and high caseloads, though it is also a very high-risk area for the use of AI. The second trend we're seeing, contrary to many people's expectations, is that governments are using AI more for analytical purposes, like improving data insights, for example, than automating repetitive tasks, which was contrary to our initial expectations. And the third trend that we're seeing is that generative AI adoption is still very limited. According to the EU Tech Watch, only around 5% of public actors are using the latest models of AI, generative AI, and most rely on traditional learning or even rules-based systems that arguably are not AI by today's standards. So moving on to some of the challenges, they're quite vast. We have data access and skills shortages being probably the top barriers to AI adoption in government. Governments are also facing rigid legal frameworks, risk aversion, and legacy IT systems that make integration difficult. And even when pilots succeed, there is a risk of a lack of monitoring, which makes it hard to prove a return on investment. The other area I wanted to highlight is the high costs associated with AI adoption that are particularly difficult in today's constrained fiscal environment.
Thank you very much, Ms. Turner, for your very deep insight based on also OECD work. And also you introduced the importance of enabling environment. So my next question to Mr. Hayes is, we know that enabling environments don't emerge by accident. What strategies and actions have government used to establish a conducive environment for the responsible use of AI in public administration based on your research?
Thanks, Vincenzo, and thank you for having me here today. It's a very pleasure to be on the panel. I'd just like to echo Gillian's comments with a big thank you to the hosts and for yesterday evening in particular, which was an experience that will live long in the memory. So at Oxford Insights, we have been pulling together the Global AI Readiness Index for around about 7 years now. That in December it will be our 8th publication. So we look at around 190 countries and how ready they are to adopt and realize the benefits of artificial intelligence across their governments. I think what we see is there are a number of different ways they kind of tackle the challenge of making sure that AI has been used responsibly. A lot of that is around having a national AI strategy. So it's not just about regulation or legislation, it's about understanding what you want to do with artificial intelligence and how you want it to impact your country in particular. In fact, we see AI strategies on the rise. In our most recent version of the index, we see 24 new AI strategies and also people revisiting their strategies. So if you had a strategy for AI in 2019, it's not particularly relevant in 2025 because obviously the technology is so fast moving. So yes, it's about having a kind of broad, well-regulated ecosystem that really spells out the difference between the responsibilities of private sector actors and public sector actors, and understanding the kind of unique nature of public administration and the data we hold, for example, the sensitive data, how that relates to kind of responsible use of AI. Some countries have gone very hard down the kind of legislation route. So China, for example, and the EU have specific AI laws. The UK is a kind of a country that's maybe gone on a more relaxed version of that, so they don't have specific AI laws. But they instead have a kind of playbook for civil servants, how to use AI responsibly, how to think about responsible use of AI, not just when you're using the tool, but developing it and procuring AI solutions as well. So there are a number of ways people are tackling it, but probably the most important one, the final one I'll highlight, is training civil servants. So I think that's probably the most important area, not just training them how to use AI tools, but again, how to procure them in a responsible way, how to deploy them and develop them in a responsible way as well.
Thank you very much, Will, for also your insight, for bringing the importance of having an AI strategy at national level, but also raising the issues that is not enough. So it's really perfect to introduce the new questions to His Excellencies, Mr. Talia. So many governments have launched AI strategies, but only a few have turned vision into reality. One of those, indeed, is UAE. In your view, what distinguishes those that have been successful in implementing AI in meaningful ways? Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be part of this panel. And, to start with, I'm sure you're all aware that the UAE have started this journey way back. In 2017, the government has appointed the first AI minister in the world to be part of the government and work on laying the foundation for adoption of AI in the nation. And I think that was, the cornerstone of moving us forward towards focusing on AI and the adoption of AI and delivering impact with AI. There is one benefit that the UAE has today, is that the UAE has a lot of diverse data, because the UAE has more than 190 nationalities living in the UAE. If you think about that, different ethnicities, different languages, and for us, AI can really accelerate developing solutions that are inclusive. Today we have, our government websites translated in many languages using AI. In the past, that was costly, that took time, and it had a lot of errors. Today, it's done on the fly, and it's updated regularly using AI, delivered to our citizens around and residents in the UAE. We started in the late 2019 to start deploying some AI solutions to deliver automation, to redesign public services, help government entities to simplify processes, reduce steps on customers. With the introduction of generative AI and agentic AI today, the UAE has started deploying conversational services using artificial intelligence. So now we're delivering services using a conversation between the customer in any language, okay, and a machine. And the agentic AI will start taking action based on the customer's instructions and on their behalf to simplify the process. I believe, you asked me what distinguishes nations that have moved, I would say, faster when it comes to AI. I believe it is focusing on small iterations of movements that have higher impact. Having, tangible results and impact at early stages is crucial to ensure that we have the right momentum when it comes to executing and deploying artificial intelligence in governments.
Thank you very much. Really, indeed, extremely important that you share concretely how you have implemented in your country and provide very good recommendations, suggestions also for the other. So it's also a great opportunity to bring this closer to the ground, and I'll address my last question for the first round to Mr. Saduliev from Uzbekistan. So please, could you share concrete examples now of how your government is using AI to improve internal processes or deliver more responsive and effective public services? Please, the floor is yours.
Good morning, first of all, and thank you very much. That's a very nice question. And in Uzbekistan, we are not considering to the AI as a future trend. We are already applying all the technologies, all the systems within the government services and in the social spheres as well. So one of the good examples I can consider into the Mukhlisa, which is the voice assistant, like AI-based voice assistants, which we already implemented into the MyGov.uz. So it's the e-government services, which helps to the nation, to the citizens, to get all the services in Uzbek language without going to the government services or even like searching it online. So you can just only put the prompt and you get the service online. So this is one of the good examples of implementing AI in the government services. Second one I can share with the USFace system, which is facial recognition systems that speeds up identity verification. So we already implemented in testing, like we are testing this system in the parks, in the malls, so that will increase the public security with using the AI systems. So, and one more thing is like AI-powered legal assistance, what we are using. So for example, where you're applying to the court, so you can estimate, like you can, using AI, you can get the estimate fees, what you will be spending in the court system, or you can get all the legal assistance using the only AI. And these are just few examples, so which helps to make services more clear, so more faster and more personalized. And we can say that Uzbekistan is considering to the AI technologies to make it to get the government services more responsive, and plus human-centric and inclusive. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And really, I want to thank the four panelists for this excellent insight. You set perfectly the scene, and also for being so diligent in respecting the allocated time. So it's greatly appreciated that. We now move to the second round of discussion, focusing on innovation and experimentation. As AI continues to evolve rapidly, public institutions must find agile ways to test new solutions while balancing risk, privacy, and accountability. And we'll hear now about the successful approaches to experimentations, including the use of regulatory sandboxes, pilot programs, and living labs. Once again, I kindly ask you to keep your responses shorter so we can continue this very rich and timely exchange. And let me now go back and invite His Excellency bin Talia for the second round questions. That is, what do you see as the most promising steps government can take to accelerate the responsible and high impact adoption of AI across the public sectors?
I want to go back to 2019. In the United Arab Emirates, we have experimented with facial biometrics. And at that stage, we did not have any legislation that could allow us to use facial biometrics and artificial intelligence to identify users when using digital platforms. So we were lucky to have, a platform called the Reg Lab. It is a regulatory lab that allows us to give the permission to use any technology and give us the right, legislative coverage to experiment with it for 6 months to 12 months. And that's what we did in 2019. So what we did is we had our unified digital ID system, the UAE Pass. And we had a challenge in adoption because users had to go to kiosks to use to identify themselves using finger biometrics. And that was an issue. So we thought, okay, let's move to facial biometrics. And we had this experiment for around 6 months. We moved to facial biometrics. We moved from having around 200,000 verified users to 2 million within 6 months, just by going to facial biometrics using AI. Of course, the benefits of this were proven, and this concept was proven and then approved by the cabinet to be an identity management system. So I believe, in order to be able to accelerate, we need to have the courage and we need to have the right platform to experiment, test, and safely deploy artificial intelligence in a way that to prove the benefit and the value out of it. And I think something like the Reg Lab could be replicated in many countries that could help accelerate this.
Thank you very much, and it's very impressing what you said, that you started this 2019 when other countries were still thinking if it was important to invest in digital government or not.
I'd like to add one thing, you know. We were very lucky. Coincidentally, we did it in 2019. By March 2020, we had most of our users on UAE Pass, and we were able to move easily into the COVID pandemic, continuing delivery of services to everyone because they were easily identifiable online.
Yes, yes, we really look at your what you did in that time with our work on the government survey. So indeed, was one of the best practices that were spread. Perfect, and also you highlighted the importance really of sandboxes and labs. So I would also ask to Mr. Haynes, also, in your view, what models of experimentations have proven most effective in testing AI solution with public institutions, or which one can be the best?
Yeah, I don't think it's a case of which one's the best. As such, there isn't really a kind of one-size-fits-all in this thing. It really does depend on the type of problem you're trying to solve and the context in which you're trying to solve it. So I think His Excellency Bintalia just mentioned a really good example of where kind of sandboxes work and that kind of testing environment. But if I look at the UK current example around pilot programs, what they're doing there in terms of government efficiency, piloting different AI tools under one big kind of program called Humphrey, which for anybody who knows is a reference to a 1980s sitcom around public servants. So yeah, they have a number of tools around minute taking or parliamentary research, things that are quite admin intensive, which they're trying to kind of really embrace AI to reduce the kind of time lag there on how much it costs people to do that. What they're doing is piloting those tools under that program. It allows people to kind of test them, trial them, and roll it out quite quickly. So a pilot program there works really well. And then in another context, in the Information Commissioner's Office, they're using sandboxes to kind of test how people can innovate and still stay true to kind of GDPR considerations. And then living labs are another example where, I know in Spain and France, for example, they're really working well in terms of stakeholder engagement and having a kind of very close relationship with stakeholders as you're innovating AI solutions. So again, it really does depend on the context and the problem you're trying to solve as to which one is the best. I wish I could give you an answer, but there isn't a...
No, I really appreciate that you accepted challenging, but of course, it was a provocative question, and I fully agree with you. There is no best solution, but indeed there are different solutions based on the environment and the ecosystem. And this also gave me the opportunity to address the other question to Ms. Dornans, that what, in your view, what governance mechanisms are needed to ensure that AI experimentations align with the legal and ethical standards that also need to be followed?
Thank you very much. Great question. So at the OECD, we've recently developed quite a simple framework for trustworthy AI adoption in government. And this is essentially just a practical tool to help governments unlock the benefits of AI whilst also managing the risks. The framework's based on 3 key elements. One around enablers, which we've already heard about today. So strong governance, access to quality data, the right skills, public procurement models and partnerships. And we've already heard from Will about the UK's AI playbook for the UK government, which is an excellent example of the practical kind of user-friendly guidance that civil servants need. The second area of the framework is around the guardrails. These include ethical principles, soft laws, guidance and standards and regulations and enforcement mechanisms to ensure trustworthy AI adoption. And for example, in Canada, they have a mandatory algorithmic impact assessment, which is a leading example in this area. It requires departments to assess the risks, implement mitigation strategies, and publish them publicly. And then the third element that I wanted to mention, which has already also been mentioned here, which is around engagement, involving the key stakeholders in the process.
Fantastic. And really now let's go back to the host. And so my question to Mr. Saduliev is, from your experience, what actions has your government taken to create a safe and dynamic environment for responsible AI experimentation and innovation? Please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, that's very critical question, but still, Uzbekistan is, as you know, we say in the Central Asia as well, we are creating an IT hub. And plus, additionally to the AI, I can surely say that Uzbekistan is going in towards to the developing the startups and so on. And so, Uzbekistan, I can say, is creating safe innovation space. So for the startups and for the new projects. And as a first step, that was we have adopted the strategy, nation strategy of AI, with the presidential decree number 358. So, which clearly defines the priority areas in AI sectors like healthcare, in transportation, and so on. And plus, with that, we have introduced our regulatory sandbox as well. So, I can surely say the systems, what I mentioned before, is Face ID, UzFace, and MyID systems. They have been, after developing, they have been tested in limited public areas before considering it as a national project as well. So, importantly, plus I can add that Uzbekistan is considering in the local capacity building as well. So that helps to improve all the directions, including AI and digital technologies. So Uzbekistan is considering to create their own projects and their own talents. So because of the ethical oversight only works when the civil servants and developers understands how to implement all the systems and how these systems are actually working. And even sometimes AI and digital technologies and plus private data can be dangerous. So that's why we have launched a training program for the government and social servants. And plus we have created 1 million prompters together with UAE. So that was one of the great projects. And I believe within next year, we will train more than 1 million people in Uzbekistan for the AI ethics and how to use prompting and how can it be danger as well. So in short, we are actually, Uzbekistan is creating room for the experiments. Thank you.
Fantastic. And you already introduced and addressed the main topics of the third round. But first, let me really congratulate with all of you for your very insights and very good discussion. So it's really time now, and we have time to more in depth on focusing on responsible AI. So including the ethical use of AI, protection of individual rights, algorithm transparency, and how we can build trust in AI-driven public systems. So as I becomes more embedded in governance, ensuring fairness, inclusivity and accountability is no longer an option, but is really essential. Once again, I kindly ask you to really interact with short answers so we can make more dynamic, and maybe we can even have a fourth quick final round. So let me start now with Mr. Hain. May I invite you to begin this third round on how our government around the world addressing concern related to individual rights, fairness, and transparency when integrating AI into the administrative processes.
Thank you very much. I can definitely keep this question short in terms of the response. Didn't think we'd get to this one. But yeah, absolutely. So I think, again, it varies around the world in terms of how governments are tackling that challenge. I mentioned earlier around specific legislation. So in the EU, for example, citizens have the right to ask their governments how their data is being used in in the deployment of AI tools. I think that's a really important kind of factor to consider there. And then in other areas, I think Gillian mentioned in Canada the kind of algorithm impact assessment. That's a really a fascinating way in which people are governments being having to show what they're doing with AI tools to their citizens, not just doing it kind of behind closed doors. And I think that's the key, transparency. So as well as the impact assessment, there are a number of governments now who are mandating the publication of algorithms and having algorithm repositories. So citizens, researchers, individuals can see how the algorithm is being used in artificial intelligence tools and how their data is being used in those tools.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I think we can go back to the host, to Uzbekistan. And you already somehow addressed this question, you answered this question in the previous. But let me ask, how is the government of Uzbekistan addressing this concern also? So if you can focus more on the concern in a practical way.
Okay. So Uzbekistan is actually responsible for AI isn't just a principle. So it's a practical necessary. And as I mentioned, our strategy is human-centric. The model of our strategy is like human-centric. I can surely say that we are considering that not human should work for the AI. So AI should be a good assistance in every field. I mean, in the healthcare as well. So if you're going to the doctor or something like this, so you should have AI assistant to help you to pretend all the illness and sicknesses. But the last decision should stay from the human as well. And so one more thing is all the public sector's AI projects, what we are implementing, so goes through the mandatory data protection. So mostly the biggest threat is coming from the Face ID systems, where is coming from all the like projects what we have implemented in the governmental sector and in any sector. So biometric recognition or digital ID is handled, so it should be handled with care. So people should understand that all these data are very sensitive. And secondly, we are working on national AI code of ethics. So in consultation with local experts, we are working together with the Oxford Insights as well. So it will set clear standards in the future for developing the AI as well. Because before developing any startups or any projects in AI, we should consider first of all into the ethics. We also support the transparency through the explainability. When citizens interact with the tools like Mukhlisa or AI-based legal support systems, they are told how the system works and what data they are using. So people can always understand and trust into the AI systems which is provided by the government. So in short, we see the responsibility not like barrier to the innovation, but as a foundation for the long-term trust between government and the civils. And how AI becomes a very good public project, not as a source of the public concern as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's move to Ms. Dorner. And based on your experience also, how are emerging international principles and the guidelines or regional and national legislation shaping the way government develop and implement AI strategies for the public sector?
Thank you. So I would argue that we actually already have a vast array of international principles in particular, possibly too much, and it can get a little bit confusing. But I would say that these international principles and standards are very important. Many of them are economy-wide. It ensures we're all pulling in a similar direction. We're all speaking the same language. We can think about interoperability of AI systems, for example. But I would say when it comes to the public sector, what we actually really need to focus on is practical action, whether that be through AI strategies, whether that be through necessary legislation, or actually, I think when we're talking about the international level, sharing our experiences and best practices is what we should be doing now if we want to accelerate trustworthy AI adoption.
Yes, I fully agree with you. And that's gave me also the opportunity to make the question to His Excellencies, Mr. Talia, because we talk about strategies, AI strategies in public sector, but also, yeah, we agreed that maybe there are even too much regulations, rules, especially in Europe, for example. They started with regulations instead of starting with sandboxes and implementation. But one of the key elements that we agreed is that AI tools can really support and help public administration to be more effective and efficient, and to reduce the bureaucracy. So based on UAE experience, how you see that AI strategy in public sector can reduce bureaucracy in the government?
I think you're going to have to give me a bit more time to answer this question.
Of course, we have time, don't worry.
To start with, let me talk about the legislative system, or I would say the judicial system in the UAE. In the UAE, we started with online court sessions, and we are today at 98% of court session being conducted completely online. Then we have also the notary public. We have started with online notary public sessions, and it's done completely remotely. Nobody has to be in an office or in a space, or not even in the country. They can be anywhere in the world and complete notary public transaction, and even with the court cases. And when we started with that, we did not start with AI. We started with the basic technology that is needed to make that happen. But as we moved forward, we wanted to optimize that. We wanted to make sure that the judge can do more with lesser time, and can do better and make faster decisions using the technology that's made available. And as a matter of fact, we used artificial intelligence to help the judge to understand and the deliberation that is happening between parties in the court case, and analyze it and look at previous court cases and the laws and the legislations that are there, and give recommendations, and give also references for the judge to these recommendations to simplify and make it easier and faster for the judge to reach to the right decision. Similarly, we've done this also with the notary public. We've applied AI to auto-notarize certain standard notarization documents that are simple. Now, in the past, it would take 15 minutes to notarize a certain document. Now it takes 10 seconds. Okay, for certain elements, we don't do it for everything. AI is only for specific cases. But to ensure that this is done in the right way, and to ensure that it is delivered with the right level of responsibility, we do have the human in the loop. So we do have balances and checks that are being done. There are humans that will have sample checks on the results that are being provided on some of the notarized documents, to ensure that it is actually doing what it is supposed to do. That's one thing. Now, in order to have that kind of AI adoption and technology adoption to improve government efficiency, the UAE have launched the Zero Bureaucracy program in 2024. And this program focuses on allowing and enabling the government employees to be part of the solution. So now all government employees are invited to compete to reduce bureaucracy regardless to what they use. They want to use technology, they want to use human intelligence, it's their call. But we have seen a lot of the teams that worked on reducing bureaucracy use artificial intelligence to simplify the process on the customers. And we have seen a lot of positive use cases, and some of them required very simple and very minimal effort, but with very huge impact on the customer experience. The Zero Bureaucracy program focused on reducing and eliminating all unnecessary steps and burden on customers, and requirements that are maybe in 5-7 years ago were needed, but today, because of technology that's available, we don't require it anymore. To reduce time by 50% for any government interaction, and to eliminate any duplication of effort between different government entities. We have gone through the first session of it, and the employees that have reduced the most bureaucracy were awarded $1 million dirhams. The team that did that were rewarded $1 million dirhams. We had 7 million dirhams allocated by the government, and 7 teams won in this. And just to highlight, this was awards to the people, to the employees, not to the government entities or to the bodies that are working. And in the second round, you can see the race towards killing bureaucracy in the government. The best ideas come from the customers, citizens, and from the employees.
Thank you very much. I think that it's really very interesting, and I would like to, because first, congratulations, all of you were managing the time in a perfect way, and so we still have time to really take some of those very good points also for the other panelists. So I would like really to, and what was, I think what was highlighted also, first is the importance of data management. And it's not a coincidence that they started with the e-justice and area also in healthcare. These are the part that, because of the availability of quality data and quality information, are more easily, can be easily more implemented through AI tools. So indeed, this is a very good example. But based on your experience also, what would you like to add on this opportunity to improve the quality of and efficiency of public administration, reducing the bureaucracy, and also engaging more the final user and the citizen people? So also there is an issue of co-creation or something like that. Please, we can start from you, and then we move to the others.
So I'm going to be a little bit tricky here, and I'm going to say UAE is doing absolutely fantastic job, and there's so is Uzbekistan, and there are some real examples of where countries are kind of leading the way. But there are also many countries that are still struggling, even with the kind of basics of digital government, and as you say, data governance in particular is a real issue. Legacy IT systems are a really big issue. So I would say, let's focus on AI, but at the same time, let's not forget that we also need to make some real inroads in wider digital government. So let's make sure that we're getting some of the basics of digital government right before we then do the nice, new, shiny AI pieces. And those two approaches around digital government and AI adoption must be integrated. So whilst AI is the topic of the moment, let's not forget the wider picture.
You know, I'm the chief of digital government branch, so indeed, your words are exactly what we try to do, because indeed, it's what we need to do is not leaving no one behind. So really, something we have not tackled, but and I don't think we have the time, but it's more on how we can strengthening partnership, regional, global, and how we can support the developing countries on this area, because the risk is that we will have a few leading countries and the rest lagging behind. So indeed, I think working on skills, and the example between UAE and Uzbekistan is amazing, and I would recommend also to move forward, also engaging other countries to do that, because it will be very extremely important. And then also using government more as a platform, and providing services also for other countries that are not really able to implement at. But we cannot open another panel for that, and we don't have time to do. But please, I want also listen for the final words, the other two panelists, and then we can move to the conclusion.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I very much echo what Gillian said in terms of, you know, digital government in general needs to be the foundation level, if you like, before we start looking at AI solutions. I think the example that's shared here between the UAE and Uzbekistan working together is also a really important one. So sharing best practices of how artificial intelligence tools are being deployed and the impact that they're having helps not only to kind of bring other governments around to the kind of the journey, but also to build that public trust and confidence in artificial intelligence in the long term, because ultimately, we can't deny there is a skepticism and a kind of people are slightly disturbed sometimes by AI, and they don't quite know what it means, and there's so much legislation out there and guidance that it can be quite overwhelming. But sharing good news stories and sharing the impacts that the technology can potentially have on citizens is the way forward, I think.
Thank you very much. So the last words to the host country, please. You have the floor.
So, one more thing is, like you've mentioned about the data as well, so data quality. So to build all of these like AI systems and so on, you always need a good quality data, which is very lacking now. So nowadays I can say, like, starting since 2017, implementing the e-government services, and plus in all the governmental sector are developing their own platforms. Uzbekistan has very big potential on having a huge bank of the data. So now, starting from 2024, we have started to collect all of these data as well, and plus started to clear all the data. So in the future, to implement these data to creating the Uzbek LLM models and so on. And plus, I believe that you mentioned one more thing is, like, there will be a future with AI, like the countries who are leading in the AI as well. But one more thing, as a conclusion, I would like to say, like Central Asia, UAE, and other countries as well should come together and develop the LLM models and so on, and all the technology together. And plus, all these countries should invest into the future generation as well, to the education, to developing their own talents, and plus always, of course, to keep in the fact that they should follow all the ethics on developing all the platforms as well.
Thank you. So we started the third round with His Excellencies, Mr. Talian, and I want to finish with you. So please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And what I would want to highlight is that we are really at the beginning of everything. With artificial intelligence today, whatever we see today is at the early stages of what this technology can do. And we should be able to have the right level of agility to shift and move fast with where this technology is moving. And that's what we focus on in the United Arab Emirates. Sharing knowledge is crucially important today to ensure that governments advance, because not everybody can do every single experiment and every single test every single model, for example. Therefore, we should always start from where others have reached and move forward. That's how we can progress faster. In the UAE, we have launched the Government AI Award. And the purpose of it is to encourage sharing between government entities within the UAE to what they have implemented. And we have really built a right use case database from this award that is shared with other government entities to understand how they can do that. And I encourage other nations to do that. We do also share knowledge with the nations around the world. We have the government experience exchange program, where we work with countries like Uzbekistan and other 45 countries, where we exchange also knowledge not only in AI but in other government practices, and we're open to discussions in these areas. Finally, I want to say that developing LLMs, as you mentioned, in the UAE we have developed LLMs and AI models that we are open to sharing with the world, like Falcon, like JACE, like Noor. These are very specialized models, and we share it with many nations, and we utilize it in the UAE to develop our AI use cases.
Thank you very much. Really,
Thank you.
indeed, I want really to thank the four speakers. You went beyond my expectations in providing very important and profound insights, concrete examples, but also give not only the hope, but give a clear message how public sector can lead, can be part, can be an actor, a main actor in this process, and not leave this issue only to private sector. And the last, what you said at the end about cooperation and working all together, it's extremely important, because indeed we have not to create we need really to be able to put everyone, all the government, all member states, to get advantage and make opportunities using AI, and of course mitigating all the risk. With this, I really want to thank you for this fantastic panel. Please, I want to invite also the audience to join me in giving our panelists a well-deserved round of applause.
Mr. Aquaro,
Yes.
I must say, you know, assembling this set of bright minds in one place, in one day, is a very rare opportunity. So I want to thank you very much for doing a great job in steering this wonderful discussion. Thank you very much. I would like to invite all the panelists and the moderator back to their seats. Thank you very much. Please give one more round of applause for our panelists and the moderator. Ladies and gentlemen, for a special announcement, it is my honor to invite to this stage the Director of UNUEGov, Ms. Delfina Suarez, and His Excellency, Mr. Sherzod Shermatov, the Minister of Digital Technologies of the Republic of Uzbekistan.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to be here announcing the launch of the Central Asia Digital Governance Forum that we are launching jointly with the United Nations University, UNUEGov, and the Ministry of Digital Technologies of Uzbekistan. This initiative aims at joining Central Asia governments and eGov agencies in order to share best practices and challenges, foster synergies, and also to bring the Central Asia experiences and potential to the international arena. Thank you very much.
Good morning, dear participants of this UN Public Service Forum. I'm very honored to welcome you on the second day, and I hope that this is really benefiting for all the participants. And today I'm also joining this announcement, and we are very much honored to launch this strategic cooperation partnership with United Nations University, UNUEGov. And specifically, you know that our leader, His Excellency President Mirziyoyev, is constantly driving the regional cooperation between the Central Asian countries. And this Central Asia Digital Governance Forum will be really benefiting all the governments of the Central Asian countries to analyze the best practices, to share the experiences, and eventually to better serve its citizens and businesses. And I would like to express our gratitude to United Nations University and wish that this cooperation will be really beneficial for the people of our region. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's thank our leaders for this announcement. And now we move from global insights to hands-on exploration. It's time to our parallel workshops. 7 sessions happening at the same time, each focusing on a vital theme in public service innovation.
Now we invite you back to your workshops. Each session will run until 1 p.m. And yes, you will have your coffee breaks at 11 a.m. Happening at the same room with this gigantic golden sun hanging from the ceiling. If you are unsure how to find your rooms, please follow the signs or ask any of our staff and you will be guided. Those who came for the Building Digital Alliances, Gulf countries, and Uzbekistan workshop, that will be happening here. I wish everybody wonderful session. Thank you very much. Kech boshlandi. Мне не разрешали. Mana aytdim-ku.